Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. So far, we have the semi New York squad that are with us tonight. To my left, we have Kat at Comic Uno,
Hey guys, what's up?
and you guys know me. I'm Mike at Duderock18. Mike's Spider Slayer should be joining us a little bit shortly. But unfortunately, Brant at Last Ember Press and Chris at Dog Rangers 86 will not be joining us tonight. They've been having a little bit of a rough week, but we hope that we'll have the whole gang here by next week. But we do have some news for you guys. We'll be talking about books we read this week, as well as maybe having a little Q&A during the show.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of news this week, so we are gonna jump in. Sorry, I was reading a comment as I said that. So first up, let's go. You know what, Michael, you wanted to discuss Super Mario Bros. So why don't you start off the show talking about that first?
So this past Thursday we had a Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary direct. And on my channel, Durock18, I did a reaction video, so you guys could check it out. But I have to say that for those of you who watched the direct, I really loved what they came out for with Mario. You had Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a Game & Watch that's coming out, Bowser's Fury that's coming out in February, and a ton of stuff. And I'm really hyped with all this. And I'm not going to tell you about what I probably am or I'm not going to be getting, because that's TBD, to be determined. But if I do get any of those products, I will definitely do a video on my channel about them. And yeah, I really enjoyed the anniversary direct. And for Mario 35 years, I think it was September 13th that he celebrates 35 years, because the All-Stars that came out for the SNES, Nintendo Switch Online, which I did a video of that also. And it was just really amazing, all in all together. And hello, JDA3 Comics. So yeah, if any of you haven't seen the direct, you really should, or you could just check out my channel and see my reaction video of that as well. So that's all I got to say for that.
Yeah, I knew Michael wanted to discuss that, so we started off the show with that. Thing I wanted to discuss was the Archie flagship title is on a surprise hiatus, and we don't know when it's coming back. And I kind of noticed a lot of the Archie comics, we haven't really seen a lot of them besides Sabrina right now, and I think this is like the first it's been on a hiatus like this. So curious to see if we'll get more Archie and what this means for the Archie franchise. Or they're moving to do some other stuff, or we can have less books from them. We don't even have that many books from them, so curious to see what they're going to do with Archie. I didn't really like the current Archie stuff. Since Mark Waid left, hasn't been the same for me, but hopefully it picks up a bit. So I think we got some comments here. We got Paul Baker who says, hey. We got, looks like Batman and Black Adam got COVID. Yes, they both did.
Yeah, about the Robert Pattinson thing, about filming some scenes without them. Yeah, that's really something. So, and and there were wrestlers too that got it recently. I think The Rock got it recently.
Oh yeah, that's Black Adam.
Yeah, but lots of celebrities. It's crazy out there with this virus.
Well, yeah, California doesn't have it great right now. Life Grip says, wish Archie had the old house style. If you mean like the little magazine style, they still have those. They sell those, and I think that actually those are the only ones going on right now, are the digests. But the comics itself, they're the ones that are being delayed for the most part. Even, again, Sabrina, I don't think that's been delayed, but I haven't seen the issue in a while. All right, let's get into another thing here, which is Silk live-action TV show in development. I believe they previously announced a movie. That didn't go anywhere. I think Silk definitely lives better as a show. I liked her whole Daily Bugle stuff. I enjoyed her series. I know Michael enjoyed her series as well. I like Cindy, so I definitely want to see a show from her.
Yeah, seeing a live action of Silk is going to be really exciting, because like you said before, like I've read Silk and I've seen her actions and her story, so it would actually be better to see it as a TV series than a movie. I mean, if they want to turn it into a movie afterwards, once we get an understanding of it, then they could do that. But the way the movie franchise is going, probably going to be a TV show at this time until it may go further. But I would really like to see how they would do Silk in live action form.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. When's Spider-Man 2099 coming? Well, he's going to be in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel from what it looked like from that original one. So
that I'm looking definitely forward to with that one.
Life Grip about Archie, like Del Carlo style and floppies. Digest are mainly reprint material with one tiny news story. I didn't know it was reprints because I didn't follow the storylines, but sorry to hear that they're not new stories there. Anyone remembers Spider-Man Unlimited? That was originally supposed to be Spider-Man 2099 show. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that.
Didn't really watch too much of it. I think it's one of the weaker Spider-Man shows, but
I do. I thought you said the weaker one you didn't like was the MTV Spider-Man.
Yeah, MTV Spider-Man is probably the weakest. This is the weaker one, the animated.
I still like the MTV Spider-Man. I wish they brought that back because that was really cool.
I think the only time they'd bring that back is through like a parody of some sort. I don't know if we would legit get to see that come back, but never say never with comics and media. All right. Let's get into the next thing, which is let's look into a lot of the other stuff Mike wanted to talk about. But yeah, let's talk about Shang-Chi introducing a new character, Sister Dagger. So I think very much in the vein of DC introducing a lot of characters. Now they're getting more spec comics for Marvel as well. I don't know if I want to get Shang-Chi. I might try issue 1. We'll see. And that'll obviously determine if I'll get issue 4.
I mean, Shang-Chi, like, reading his comic book wise, there were some comic issues that were in the middle and in between. But to hear that there's going to be a new character, I don't think if there were any new characters that Shang-Chi did introduce. Because I know he teamed up with, I think, Iron Fist or something. Or somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head.
You know better than me. I don't think I've ever read a Shang-Chi.
No, but I'm just saying, like, to introduce like a new character for Shang-Chi's story is something that I really want to read about and look into, depending on, how the story goes and along with the artwork as well with that. Yeah. Do you know who's writing that story? Or
Gene Yang. Oh, what's his full name? He's done Mecha Cadet U. He's done the new Superman book. I forget. It's Gene something who's writing it.
I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments can let us know.
It's coming out this month. It's the end of the month. It's coming out.
All right. So that's something to look forward to for the end of September.
Yeah, for Gene Lin Yang. So I was right. I was like, Gene Yang something.
Oh, there you go.
We have a question from Tevia. Anyone seen Mulan yet? I saw it. I honestly really didn't like it.
I didn't see it, but I'm getting mixed reviews that, yeah, they liked it. Some people really didn't like it. So, I mean, I haven't seen it because, I've been doing like a ton of stuff that I haven't been able to watch it though. But, I mean, look, I have nothing like against the movie or anything. I think with live action, some movies were decently good, and there are others that might be a little improvements. But, I mean, look, it's a movie that brings some of us back to our childhood if we've seen the Disney movies.
Mike's having some issues that are coming on.
Yeah.
We're going to try to give him another link and see if that helps him out.
Yeah. So
we'll see what he says.
Yeah, we're just trying to help out Mike a little bit. Yeah, so but yeah, that's my Shang-Chi thingamajigger or whatever other news we.
Mike Manhattan says, "Are you telling me you actually paid $30?" We did a family movie night with my brother and my parents, so I didn't pay $30.
Yeah, but let's just say. If you don't have a family, like just saying, for instance, like you're in a house.
I wouldn't pay $30 if I didn't do it. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I understand that Disney is about family and getting together and why, if they're I'm not gonna say, why they're gonna do $30 because I understand that Disney is a family where everyone wants to get together and see a movie. But if you're all by yourself, I mean, hey, if you want to see the movie because you were a Mulan fan back when you saw it as an anime cartoon thing, then that's fine. But that's the reason why it's so
definitely
much.
like the cartoon more, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so like the music also, it just speaks out to you,
I agree. Music is.
It's in my top 10 though movies that I would recommend.
Oh, we got Mike on, I think.
Hey, there he is, that Comic Book Corner 2.0.
You guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yep, loud and clear.
All right, good. Glad to be here. Sorry about that. Just a lot of issues trying to get logged on and everything.
It's been a crazy day, I'm sure. And I don't know. Yeah, StreamYard, sometimes they give your issues. But yeah, we talked about all the news pieces I tried talking about that you didn't mark down. But the things you did mark down was that Shang-Chi is introducing a new character, Sister Dagger, and then also Silk live action TV show in development. We discussed all those.
So I think the Silk show, I think, is kind of cool because, obviously I want to see that character in live action. Kind of curious to see what happens. And I see that Sony is trying to Amazon trying to get rights to it to show it through there. So I find that quite interesting. I'll be okay with that because I actually have Amazon Prime, so I'd be able to watch that. But yeah, I'm cool to see, what they would do with that. And then we would have like Spider-Man, and we have possibly Spider-Woman movie in development. And then we have, the Cindy Moon thing. So we got all kinds of Spider people floating around everywhere. They're trying to capitalize on the whole Spider-Verse situation. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'll be down for it. So, and then what was the other thing?
Shang-Chi introduces new character, Sister Dagger.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a fan of the character, I think you'll be happy to see a Shang-Chi comic book back, and then to introduce another character, I think is pretty neat also. And then, obviously since the movie is coming out, you could probably look for that to possibly be a spec book. Obviously if that character might show up in the movie, don't know. There's still a lot of time between then and now, but I think people are just happy just in general to see a Shang-Chi comic book in general. So
are you getting that first issue, or are you gonna skip it? I said it depended on the week.
I think I'll try it out just to see. I mean, again, it's new. We haven't had one in a while, so why not try it and see? Being that you're, a martial arts fan, I would think that you would give it a try.
But I know nothing about Shang-Chi, so I'm a little worried it's going to be not new reader friendly. So I'm like, I don't want to get this issue. I think I'll try it out, but
yeah, I think it will. I think it actually will be new reader friendly. I don't think a lot of people have read recent issues, or past issues of Shang-Chi or know that much about them. So if I was smart and if I was Marvel, I would definitely make it new reader friendly, because you're never going to attract new readers if you don't.
I agree. Well,
I did explain before that I did read some Shang-Chi's issues back and all that, and it'll be really cool to see a new action issue of that, along with introducing a new character. Did you said you read Shang-Chi, or you didn't really?
No, I never really read that much of the character either. So that's why
I think he teamed up with Iron Fist. I'm not too sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because I mean they're both martial arts characters, but that was probably just like a one-off comic.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it and see. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to probably try the one issue.
And two topics you marked down, Mike, was DC celebrates Wonder Woman of history. So it's like Serena Williams, I think RGB's, Ruth RBG is in it. Fortnite, and also Fortnite Wolverine story finds home in Wolverine 5. So they are reprinting the Fortnite books and the Marvel books as well. So what do you think of those two topics?
I think when it comes to the Wonder Woman thing and just all the other stories in the other Wonder Women in the world, I think that's a good thing. I think that's their stories need to be told. And and obviously that I'm the tennis instructor, and being that Serena Williams is involved in that story, one of many of those stories in that book, that I think that's pretty neat that they are doing it. So I'm on board with that. And then when it comes to the Fortnite thing, I thought it was kind of cool. Like, yeah, at the end of Wolverine issue 5, you get to see Wolverine being taken by the Bifrost. And so if you play Fortnite right now, that's how all the Marvel heroes were collected, by Thor recruiting them there, and they wind up going into obviously the world of Fortnite. So it was kind of cool to see that last page at the end of this current issue, how it connected. I thought that was kind of cool, so I like how they're tying that stuff in. They're really working well with a popular video game, and if that's a way to get people into comic books, why not? I mean, obviously it's not the first time we've seen video games crossover with comics, and I think we should, obviously do it more often where it's in current times,
Yeah, they're making Fortnite really out there, that game.
Yeah, let's hope that it helps bring, I guess, Marvel comic readers of Fortnite too, it seems like. It seems like they're really trying to bleed both audiences, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mike Manhattan, Fortnite Wolverine comic. That's a thing. It's just a one page. It's just one page in the Wolverine comic. It's not, it's not a whole series.
You don't see him doing battle or anything. It's just a thing to, like I said, just recruiting Wolverine. And Wolverine knows. She's like, oh, I don't have the time right now, bub. And then the Bifrost just takes him away. And then that's how it goes. So.
All right. Well, the last news piece is 4 kids walk into a bank, gets a movie. So this is a Black Mask comic, came out a couple of years ago. It was very popular. I haven't gotten a chance to read it. I think I have the trade somewhere, but I just find it always interesting seeing the smaller guys like Black Mask get their own movie. I think that's really cool. And just seeing, comics and in other mediums are always interesting, get other people hopefully into comics.
So did you not read the very first issues when it came out? I thought you did.
No, I think maybe I read issue 1, but I definitely have not read the full series.
Yeah, that was really good. And I think, like, if this is being made into a movie, again, when you look at books, independent books, this is one that you might want to look for in your collection, because I can guarantee you that this is not a high print run book, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have it and this movie takes off, I have a feeling that this book could be worth a lot of money in the future. But nevertheless, spec book or not, it was a really good story and it was really well written. So if you can go out there and buy it and trade, I would say go out there and read it, because it was a good book.
I'm curious how much money it costs. I'm trying to look right now. It says I think this is CG Seed. It's $117 if I'm seeing this correctly, which is not like horrible for something.
No, if it's a 9.8, maybe it might be for 117.
Yeah, 9.8.
Yeah, 9.8, 117. So yeah. And I'm sure once the word gets out more on that, I'm sure that people will try to, buy it and it'll go up in value even more as the weeks go on.
Yeah, it's 50 right now, non-slabbed.
So it's raw copy is 50.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's not horrible.
No,
so go grab your issues, because you never know how popular it's gonna be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is all the news for this week. So we're gonna jump into some comics. There's big books, but there's not a whole lot.
Wait, what about
books.
Under the Radar?
Under the Radar is part of comics, Michael.
Oh,
it's this week's
thought,
comics.
Oh, okay.
We're going into Under the Radar.
I thought you just took over.
Do you want to talk about the topic though that this show was about?
Yeah, I will say the book that it happens in is in the Under the Radar. So if you want to just do it through Under the Radar, we can, or we could bring up the topic now. Let's just talk about the topic now.
I could give Mike first Under the Radar. So Mike,
I didn't select one because I don't have any under the radar book this week. Everything was like a top book that
I told Mike no to the one he picked. So
right.
I know.
So let's talk about the topic at hand. Why don't you just kick it off, Kat?
Yeah, sure. So my under the radar book was Young Justice issue 18. And the topic of this video is there a new Robin? Who's the new Robin? And yeah, there is, it looks like, depending on if other series are going to pick this up. Tim Drake said Drake is a stupid name, and everyone agreed, and he just went back to being Robin. So does that mean now that Damian Wayne's not Robin? Is Tim Drake the official Robin? And that's the big question. Is Batman, the flagship title, going to take this on now that we're going to see the Bat family in the next issue? Is Tim Drake going to be the official Robin again? What do you guys think about that? Or just the idea of Tim Drake being Robin again? I love Tim Drake as Robin, so I'm cool with it. But
like, Tim Drake's an okay Robin. I mean, he's like my, what I think, like second or third pick to be the best Robin. You know, like if I had to choose a top 4 or 5 of the Robins. But I mean, if they're choosing Tim Drake to be a good Robin, I know that there are other Tim Drake fans who liked Tim Drake as Robin. So maybe another shot would be really awesome for Tim Drake fans.
Paul Baker pretty much insinuates he wants Stephanie Brown to be Robin, which I totally agree. I would love Steph to be Robin, but I don't even think the Bat family deserves her as Robin. They didn't treat her right, so I think she should just be spoiler. They don't deserve Stephanie. But yeah, going to the issue, I thought the issue was pretty solid. We get to see Stephanie beat up her dad. That was cool. I mean, it wasn't like the best issue in the world, even as a super Steph fan, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I'm curious to see where it's all going to go.
You know, when it comes to the whole Robin situation, and I know I wasn't on the show last week to talk about what happened in Teen Titans, you know, because obviously Damian goes AWOL and rips off the symbol, and he's like, I'm not Robin anymore, and he's just like, who knows what's going to happen with him at this point. You know, and I'm sitting there thinking too, like, well, yeah, who's going to take his place? Or is his dad going to bring him back? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just sitting there going, my gosh. So, and I didn't read Young Justice, so I didn't know that he kind of just said, I'm just going to be Robin now. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird. But as for Tim Drake being Robin, I feel like that's kind of cool. You know, I don't have a problem with it. I could kind of see though Tim Drake and Damian going at it though in the future. If Damian is still like, I don't know, what do you want to call him at this point? You know, but
I feel like Tim will just be like, here, you know, I'll be Red Robin again.
I think they'll fight. I think like they'll come face to face with each other, and I think maybe Damian could go on like he might go to the dark side again and completely, and just, you know, continue to say, you know, fighting good, you know, fighting for the better causes. It doesn't prove anything, and this and that, and they could possibly fight each other. I could actually see that, you know, Tim Drake versus Damian, and then what does Batman do? What does Bruce do? You know, he's already lost Alfred, you know, now he's losing Damian. And then if those two fight, like what happens? Like that could set something up pretty big, you know?
I think it also depends what's going to happen with the Joker War. Like I kind of stated previously, it has to do a lot with the Bat family. So I'm curious if that's going to shake anything up. So yeah, that definitely would be an interesting issue though. If they actually did the Tim and versus Damian just for a one shot, it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I guess what I'm most curious about is DC's actually going to follow its own continuity. If any of these smaller titles actually matter to the bigger Bat mythos, because these both happen in Teen Titans and Young Justice, kind of smaller titles that are both ending.
Right. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, I go back to Teen Titans, and I'm just like, you know, someone made a comment today on one of my videos, my top 10 most anticipated, and said, what are the DC executives doing by canceling a book like Teen Titans? It is one of their biggest franchises when you look at the overall grand scheme of things, right? You had the original cartoon back in the day, and then you get Teen Titans Go, even though it's still completely different. And then you had Teen Titans Comics that's been around for forever. And then you just go ahead and you just cancel this one, just kind of like out of the blue, you know? And there's a lot of shit that went on in Teen Titans. And this story here, I think, plays a major impact in Batman's life. So for it to just kind of just end would be kind of shitty. The worst thing, though, that would happen would be like, oh, Father, I'm sorry. And he gives him a hug and he's like, oh, I'm Robin again. Then that'd be stupid. That would be really bad. And then there would be no continuity whatsoever, because then you just got Drake saying that he's Robin again, too. And then you got two Robins running around, right?
Supposedly, Paul Baker says the previews for Batman issue 1 show that some changes are definitely coming for Robin and Batgirl. They're not exactly new changes, but will be the first time in this continuity. Interesting. I'm still not worried. I don't want to say worried that Barbara is just going to be Oracle again. I think it'll be different. I personally do like her a bit more as Batgirl, but I know how important she is as Oracle. So I can see that leading into something. But yeah, I'm excited to see what changes I guess James Tynion in general is going to do with Batman. And again, it seems like the Bat family. But yeah, that's our topic for this week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I thought it was a big one. Yeah.
And real quick, though, why do you think they would go back to the whole Oracle situation?
Oh, yeah, you weren't on last week. So I don't know if you read Batgirl last issue, but
I did. And she got her implant back in. So
and then what's his face? Duke.
Oh, not crazy brother.
No, her old boyfriend, Luke. Luke said, if this happens again, you'll be paralyzed forever.
Oh,
like, I could deal with that. So that's why I'm curious if that's the direction they're going.
Do you think they would go back to that well, though, making her Oracle again?
I don't know. They're canceling Batgirl, so I really don't know.
Oracle Part 2.
I can see it, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't think it'll be a shock, though. Yeah. Oh, Paul says someone else is becoming Batgirl again.
Ooh.
Is it Cass? Is it? You could just. I just want a spoiler at this point, Paul.
Spoiler.
Is it Cass or is it Steph? Because in that regard, I think it should be Stephanie, because I think Stephanie's time was cut short. But at the same time, I think Cassandra is great too. And yeah, I don't know. I'd be excited for both, even though I like Barbara as Batgirl. I love all three of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So time will tell, but I think there's going to be a lot of changes also. And basically, even after Detective Comics issue 1027, they're saying that there's going to be a lot of stuff leading up to the next Batman event. So I think we're in store for a big Bat type of year coming up. So I think this Joker War is just getting started here.
I feel like it was already a big Bat year, because I feel like it's the only book we talk about for DC.
And DC knows it. Like, DC knows, like, Batman is the seller, and you're going to follow him and the Bat family. So it's kind of like, we're just going to keep rolling with that, So
Paul said multiple DC artists on Twitter have showed upcoming panels of Cass in her Batgirl costume. Steph isn't changing, though. I'm cool with that. I would love to see that. If it's any of the people we've seen as Batgirl before, I'm cool with the change. But then that also proves the point: is Barbara going to be Oracle? Most likely, if that's happening.
Yeah, time will tell, man. I'm excited though. So we're gonna see probably like no DC titles except Batman, Batgirl, Oracle Part 2, Damian the Anti-Hero. Yeah, all digital. Coming to you every week at 99 cents an issue. You get 6 pages.
You get Cassandra came back as Batgirl and you can't even get it printed. That'd be so sad.
Are you gonna tune into the fandom thing this weekend? Because it's coming. It's the second part of it, and it's supposedly streaming like for 24 hours straight.
Probably not. I think I'm just gonna pick up on the news that comes out. I didn't really watch. I just watched the news that came out of the last one, and I was pretty satisfied with that.
Right.
How about you?
Yeah, I'll be on top of it. Maybe if there's some big news on it, maybe I'll be on top of it just to do some videos on something. But I think if it's comic book related, like comic book news, that's what I might post. So
If there is any. I think the only thing I'm like super excited for is if Harley Quinn has another season and they have a panel, so I'm guessing they do. I don't know how much comic news they're gonna announce, but I hope they do. That'd be nice.
It would be great if like they somehow came up with a plan in the past few weeks on what they're going to do, and they freaking announce it here and being like, oh, at the beginning of the year, we're going to do this, and we're going to launch this, and we're going to do this. Like they have a new initiative for their company, and then they're going to release Michael's Green Arrow book for the first time in 2 years, and you know what I'm saying? Like I would love for them to come up with something like that.
I would hope so too. I don't think this is going to be it, but I hope maybe in the next couple of months they plan another DC fandom thing and it's just comics and we get something like that. I mean, I remember when that Wonder Comics panel happened and they live streamed it. That was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that with the New 52. They just announced titles through the websites that were active in that day, which I feel like more than half aren't these days. I think it was like Comic Vine. They announced 5 titles, but
Right.
Wonder Comics was cool because they announced like all the Wonder Comics. Wonder Con was cool because they announced all the comics in one panel and they streamed it all. And
it was like for Rebirth when they were doing all that, and then they were like announcing all the creative teams and everything else. Like you want to talk about something that got people pumped, like that was really it, And so I would love for them to do something like that again. You just need people to I want people to get excited about, DC. There's been so much like negative press and it's just so many bad things about them. Like we need to focus on the good more than the bad. You know what I'm saying? To keep people into reading these things. Otherwise, it's going to go under if we constantly sit there and shoot down, negative stuff,
I agree. I hope we get some good stuff. And I hope that Marvel has some news too, because I feel like on one side, yes, we've been talking about bad news from DC. I feel like Marvel just hasn't had any news. And
They've
I'm just
been
like,
very
I want something.
stagnant. Yeah, nothing big has come out of them, out of this whole thing. It's just they're just all right. We're printing our comics, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. And as you notice with our titles, there's been no Marvel titles. And it's not because we don't want to talk about Marvel. It's just literally the news pieces that have been coming out have been DC related these last couple of months since COVID has returned. Well, since comics have returned since COVID, although COVID has returned too. But yeah, those are that's one under the radar. Michael has his under the radar, which also was a big book this week. I guess there just wasn't a lot of books that were low this week.
The book that I want to talk about under the radar actually is Hellblazer Rise and Fall issue #1. Now I want to give this comic book a try again just to see if the story was going to be a little bit better, because the other volumes ago was kind of not satisfying. But this one was not actually a bad book. Like, I liked how it started with John Constantine's origin story about how he was born and how he got into some chaotic stuff with his friends, learning about magic, and how his friend Billy got killed because of the magic spell that he wasn't really supposed to do. And then it focuses on Aisha. I think that's how you say her name. And how, how focused on her story years later when she became a police officer or some type of cop with her partner. And there was a man that was spotted on a thing where he was stuck with a needle through it, and he had wings. And they wanted to investigate about the wings, and it just went through like a whole big thing about someone took the wings, and John Constantine comes in with information about that Billy could be behind this because of his spear form that came back to not such great things. And as we go into all this, Billy saying that was John's fault of what happened, we see that there's a devil in the end of the issue saying that he wants to have his wings back, and that was to be continued. I mean, it was a long story, but not really a bad issue. I actually enjoyed this issue, and it was a good read for this week.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't have any interest in buying it. Actually, I bought so much other stuff. I was kind of like, I'm gonna pass on this, and because last week, for some reason, I bought so many like variant covers and stuff. So I was like, I can't pick this one up. So I just passed on it, unfortunately. But you liked it, though, overall?
Yeah. It was really not a bad book. I can't wait to see what issue 2 is going to have in store for him.
Cool.
Yeah, I skipped Hellblazer as well. Too much magic for me.
Uh-huh.
So I just want to thank you, everybody, for joining in on the show on my channel on Comic Book Corner 2.0 and Comic Frontline. So you guys, hopefully you're enjoying it.
Yes, thanks.
And we're getting ready to talk about the regular comics now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So no more under the radar. There wasn't really that many under the radar books. Everything was like kind of like big books to talk about, right?
I've only read basically just 2 books this week.
Did you really?
And that
was one of them.
I mean, there was another book, but I just threw it out the window.
Gotcha.
You threw it out. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I know what book you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you, Michael, I read Mega Man last week. Right.
Oh, why didn't you get Mega? Oh, Mega Man was last week.
No,
right?
Last week, and I wasn't on the show, but I read Mega Man last week.
What'd you think about it?
I hated it. I hate
Yes, it was the new artwork.
No, it wasn't kind of it was the artwork, but that wasn't it. The story was so bland. It was so boring. There was just nothing to it, it was just like playing the video game. I was just like, this is so boring,
But Mega Man is a video game.
I know, but it was like it shouldn't be about that. Like you can explore more when you have a comic because it's just not a video game. You can go outside the realm of Dr. Wily and everything else, like do something else. And I was just so bored by it. Yes. And the artwork didn't help, unfortunately. But I was like, oh man, I really wanted to like this book. And I'm like, Michael's probably going to be so upset that I didn't like it. But
no, I mean, it's your opinion. I mean, I understand that it's the same thing like from the video game. I mean, to me, in my opinion, I found it to be, not like as in the video game. Like I know we've seen it in the video game, but there was something about it that made it really interesting about, Mega Man's memory getting taken and, the robot now has it. And then we have this weird sibling person that came in at the end of the issue. And I want to know more about that. So I thought it wasn't that bad. I mean, hey, if you didn't like the book, it's your opinion. That's all I have.
Right.
You're entitled to whatever you feel.
It's just not my thing, man. I was a little bit disappointed, but at least I
Are
gave
you gonna
it
give
a
the
try.
next issue a try?
No. I got the cool variant cover, the Inhuck Lee variant cover, and it's a beautiful cover, so I'm keeping it for that. So at least I got it for that cover. So
all right.
But yeah, so I just wanted to give you my thoughts on that. All right, so we'll talk about this week's big books before we actually start our top 5, and we're going to kick off a book that came out a long time ago, right before COVID happened. In certain shops, they got a variant cover of it. My shop actually was one of those shops, but if you weren't lucky enough to get it, it came out this week, and this time it was Black Widow. This was issue 1. It's written by Kelly Thompson, so if you're a fan of her, you might like this book because she's currently writing Captain Marvel. And I thought this book was really well done. Something's up with Natasha. She doesn't seem like she has her memory, or she doesn't remember that she is Black Widow. And somehow, though, she still kind of like has all her skills, right? And she works at like what? She's like an architect.
I think so, from what I could put together.
Right. And she has all her skills, but she doesn't realize that she's something more than that. And Clint sees her on TV, and they're like, "Oh, Bucky, did you see that Natasha's there?" And so they haven't seen her in forever. They didn't know where she's at, and it just makes for a really interesting plot because at the end you wind up seeing Arcade in there, and he's watching her. So I thought that was kind of cool. And it looks like he's the one that may have captured her and is doing this experiment on her. So what'd you think about this? I know Michael didn't read it, but Kat, what'd you think about it?
I liked it. I thought it was a little disjointed at times. Like I think the beginning was a little slow, but once we get to Natasha's new life, I really liked it. And, just like Kelly Thompson does, I think she's great at dialogue and really good at bouncing humor and action, and she does that really well here. Both are, which I actually forgot to post, our top 5 panels for this week, so definitely go vote, guys. But both our panels, we had that litter one from Black Widow, where she just chases litter, and she uses all her espionage skills for that. So I thought that was fun. Artwork's really good for this book too, but definitely gave me a hook for issue 2, and it was a pretty solid issue 1. I don't think it was perfect, but I've never liked Black Widow, and I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, oh, I need to get Black Widow issue 2, but finally I'm like, oh, I'll get Black Widow issue 2.
I'm the same way. I am right there with you when it comes to that, because it's like there's never been a Black Widow series that's captured me, and I'm kind of like, all right, I'll try issue 2. But this one is like, okay, I'll try this. This got some good lines in it. Kelly Thompson's got that good track record. So it's like, if there's anybody that can probably write her well, it's probably her. So yeah, definitely going to continue to read that book. So I'm happy that I picked it up and I read it, and I read it for a second time. So
oh yeah, because you picked it up earlier.
And I read it.
Like you liked it more.
March, I think. Yes, I did actually appreciate it more the second time around. So it was cool. I love the humor in the book. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited for issue 2. I'm sure you're very excited for issue 2 because you're waiting too long.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So next we're going to be talking about We Only Find Them When They're Dead, issue 1.
I read it.
This is the other one.
Yeah,
Okay,
we all recommended it to me, because all of us were going to read and talk about it.
Well, this is...
I'm glad you read it so we could all talk about it, but
right.
I don't know if I'm glad we recommended it.
I mean,
independent release, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk about this book, and Al Ewing is the writer of this. He writes The Immortal Hulk. Kat and I are huge fans of that series. So we're like, all right, well, we're going to try this book. And I read it, and I actually disliked the issue. I was not a fan of this issue at all. I kind of found the story a little bit all over the place, unfortunately. I thought the artwork was pretty in the book. Very colorful, bright, vibrant colors. However, I just couldn't make out what was going on. Who were the characters? Which guy was good? Which guy was bad? Who should I follow? And when a book overwhelms you with something like that, especially independent comic, when you're not familiar with characters, you really need to really, do it maybe one at a time or slow it down or whatnot. So what did you guys think of that?
I have to say, though, that I do agree with you. I did find this book also confusing with all these adventures in space, I guess it was. I mean, because
it's a sci-fi epic.
The artwork was definitely fitting for the book, with all, like Mike just said, bright colors and all that. But all I just got from the book is that Georges becomes the captain of his ship. He has his teammates, and then there's just so many things. I thought I was going to be the only one on the show that would say I found it confusing, because I didn't barely understand the book either because of the confusion or anything. I mean, I want to see issue 2 to see how it goes, but if I find issue 2 like issue 1, I'm just going to chop it and just no.
Yeah, no, I'm chopping this one. I know I'm spoiling my chop block. But, I'm in agreement of everything. I didn't really quite understand what's going on. I didn't really know any of the characters. I actually didn't like the art. I thought the contrast of colors were like a little jarring and a little bit too much. You get to see purple in one panel and then green in the next. I'm like, all right, slow things down. The only thing I really liked was maybe the text. I liked the visual in that regard, like kind of saga-ish in there. But yeah, I could not get into it. There wasn't really a thing that grabbed me.
Yeah, the only thing I got from it was the main character was the boy. He saw a god when he was real young, and now he's doing the same thing. And now, for some reason, they're about to see a god that's alive.
Yeah. But why should we care?
All these gods remind me of Celestials from Marvel. That's what that reminded me of. It's just like, okay, we're just seeing celestials in space and people are mining them for money. That's basically what I got out of this whole thing. And I just didn't find it entertaining. And I was really disappointed because I had high expectations. There was a lot of hype for this book. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm cutting it short. Maybe I should give it another try. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. It's on my chopping block too, but maybe it depends on the type of week if I pick up another issue or not.
I know this is going to be a 15-issue run, so I don't know if that helps or deters people, but yeah, it's going to be 15 issues.
Oh my.
I thought that was actually shorter than I would expect because I thought this was going to be like an ongoing, but it's like a smaller run.
Gotcha. All right. So that's it. That's what we talk about there. All right. So we're going to talk about our number 5. So Kat, what is your number 5?
Mine is Buffy the Vampire Slayer issue, 17. This was an interesting issue. We get to see Wesley introduced. We haven't seen him in the Buffy universe, so it was cool to kind of see what he was up to. I don't know if we needed a whole issue about Wesley. He's not as interesting in this time period of Buffy. But yeah, it was nice to get someone new from the series. And I do like the character once he grows and when he was an angel. So hopefully we get to see that growth pretty soon in the Buffy series.
Cool. All right. And you know what? My books are in the living room, so I gotta go get them. So you guys gotta talk about something.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna come in when we get to our top number 2. So
talk about something.
Well, let's read some comments. So we got Gore Vital who says, Illing's book, interesting concept, bad execution. It didn't help the god looked like an anime character. I agree. I think it is an interesting concept, but the execution was really rushed, and I don't know. I just don't think it was really a perfect issue 1 in that regard. Let's see what else we got. Real Manos, we talking about Black Widow. Love that issue. So we have some love for Black Widow. I see Justin was talking about how he usually doesn't like Black Widow because he doesn't want to read the Red Room anymore. I think that's what's kind of was nice about this issue of Black Widow, though, is that there was no Red Room. It was something completely different for Black Widow, and it's just telling a different story. So that was pretty cool. Well, looks like Mike's back, so I think
I'm ready.
Get all your comics.
Yeah, I got them. I'm just making sure I got them in that top 5. All right, my number 5 is Empyre, the conclusion to the story. It was overall a solid event. I liked it. I think that the end may have been a little bit predictable, but it was still a fun, decent event. We got some things out of it, like the whole thing what happened with She-Hulk and some cool battles with the Thing, and we got the Captain Marvel situation. Black Panther luckily is alive. He's not dead. Because he was killed in the last issue and he faked his death somehow. So I thought overall it was a good issue. Was it the best? No, but it was a good book. So if there's a collection that comes out with this, I would say, and if you're interested, I would say read it that way.
And we lost Mike, but we heard the whole set. Well, it was interesting because his video wasn't matching. His video but his voice, I heard everything he was saying.
Yeah, like he was like,
I won't stop you.
And then his voice was talking.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not going to stop you there. Empyre, didn't read it, but I am going to get the Aftermath books because I am reading Fantastic Four and I want to kind of like see what's going on there with the Fantastic Four. And then I also like Wiccan and Hulking, and I think they're going to do stuff with the wedding in the Avengers Aftermath. So I think I'm going to, I have it on the pull list. I'm definitely getting it. I hope it's, I can read it and understand what's going on without having read Empyre, and it doesn't lean too heavily on the Avengers and more on Wiccan and Hulking. We'll have to see. We got Serenity says Immortal Hulk, She-Hulk equals I know like. Stop making Jen like Banner. I agree. I think Jen's a different character and we should respect that. Hopefully Mike comes on back soon, but I guess we'll go into the next big books as we wait for him. And you know, Michael already talked about all the books he read. So, but let's see. Let me just make sure that Mike is coming back on. Give me a second.
Well, did you read this week? Because I didn't read it. The Marvel Zombies Resurrection.
I didn't read that. I think only Mike read it. Not a big.
I want to know how that book was because I didn't have the time to actually check it out because I've been like just busy. Let me see.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I guess I could talk about Batman in the time being. I have read Batman. Yeah, Batman. I thought it started out slow, but I really liked as we got towards the end of this issue where we get to see Harley and Batman begin to team up. We got to see a really good Batman punchline versus battle, which almost was the title of this episode. And it was kind of cool to see Harley just lay down, why the Joker is bad, and Punchline doesn't see, she's just like Harley. She's like, you suck. I'm not like you, and she doesn't see it's the exact mirror. So we'll see where that goes. And then we have a really good interesting conversation between fake dead Alfred and Batman to get Batman motivated again to fight. And now it's going to be the whole Bat family fighting against the Joker, and that leads us into the next issue. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid issue for me. I've been enjoying the Joker War overall.
Mm-hmm.
That was next big book. See, I think we got a message here on Facebook. He said give me a minute, so hopefully he jumps on. Yeah, let's get into my number 4 then. My number 4 was, I think, Young Justice, and we already talked about it. Yeah, number 4 was Young Justice for me. Like I said, I really liked the Stephanie Brown stuff. I thought finally Tim is Robin again and doesn't have Drake in his name. Overall, a fun issue. That's my number 4. Let's go into the next big book, which is Firepower.
Yeah, how's that book?
Firepower is great. And Firepower. Well, honestly, Michael, I recommend Firepower for you. It's a Robert Kirkman book. It's about martial arts. I don't even know why you're not reading it. It's only 3 issues in, I believe. So it's not much to catch up on. That and Red Mother. I keep saying those are like the 2 books I think you need to be reading because like they're actually good books. I know it's hard to jump into series.
No, it's just that I can't remember. Sometimes I just read my books and I can't remember the titles. I'm like saying what they recommend because like there's just so many things to remember in my head. I'm like,
I will write it down for you after this show. I'll write it on our Facebook group and I'll say Firepower and Red Mother because those 2.
Well, hopefully I'll get around to reading them too. Because of.
I agree. Hopefully you get some time to read it, but before you go to sleep, read an issue and be like, oh, that was good. I really think you'd like Firepower. But yeah, this issue, we got to see our main character train his kids, and I like that it's so character driven. And Mike's back, and we'll talk about Firepower when he gets back too. We're talking about Firepower, Mike. I talked about Batman, and my number 4 was Young Justice. So we'll go back to those. But since we're talking about Firepower, we'll talk about that first.
Okay.
Yeah, Firepower. I really liked it. I'm so surprised by this book. It's probably one of my favorites of Kirkman thus far. I also recommend it to Michael. And I like kind of the slow pace it's taking. I like that we're learning more about their family. We're seeing the kids train, but then also unraveling the mystery of what's going on back at his old home, I guess we'll call it. I don't know what to really call it, but yeah, really, really enjoy this book a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you sit there and you look at obviously Robert Kirkman writing, we know how he likes to take his time on a story. So we know that sometimes when he tells a story, literally one scene can be an entire issue. So for him to do this type of pacing is not unfamiliar, right? So but I agree with you. I like learning about the family and how they act with his dad and how they're training
to get ready for maybe something bigger into the future. And I love the setup that they were trying to get him to go back home just to kill him. And I did not see that coming, actually. I thought it was legit, where it was like, hey, come fight with us again, you know? And then at the end, you wind up seeing that what was behind that door, and you wind up getting to see all these great warriors, these warriors that you didn't see before, like in that first trade. And you always wondered what was behind that mysterious door. So there's a lot of mystery. There's great family dynamic, great character development. Just everything about this book is really good. And like, you know, I said earlier, you know, that this is turning out to be one of my favorite independents right now as well. Really great book. And this is something that, you know, you look for. You know, it's just, again, the family dynamic, it's grounded book, and that's what makes it a lot of fun, I think.
And I forgot to mention also the cop, her partner seems involved in all this too. That was really interesting. So there's good cliffhangers in that regard as well.
And then the sensei, the master, him being part of that Earth Scorched clan, I'm like, for real? Like, what the heck happened in the time from when he left till this point, right? That everything had just turned around. So I think that makes for a very interesting story. And obviously, I'm sure we'll see that unfold as time goes along.
For sure. Other thing we talked about was Batman. I thought it was a really solid issue. And then my number 4, we already talked about as well. So if you want to do Batman and then your number 4.
Yeah, Batman was a really good issue. I said this once before when we talked about Batman issue 97, about how Alfred is integrated in this story even though he's killed off, right? And I thought this was a really good way to keep him in there. And the emotion that you got to see with Bruce as well was really well done also. And him just coming into terms with himself that Alfred is truly gone was really well done too. The story with Punchline and Harley was really well done. I thought that was awesome. You know, her, you know, explaining all her feelings towards the Joker and trying to put a realization in Punchline's head, and Punchline just didn't want to hear it. I thought was really an important moment as well, because it really shows that more serious side of Harley. We get to see always so often these days of her being so silly, so goofy, so comical, but we get to see the pain that she has endured over the years. And I thought that was really awesome, the way that was explained in that book. And and this was in my panels too, the I'm Batman moment, I thought artistically was beautifully done. And so the overall book in this story has been awesome. So yeah, really, really great stuff. And now they captured Punchline. So what happens next?
Yeah, I'm so excited for issue 100. I think it hopefully won't let us down. So what was your number 4 as well?
So my number 4 was, so we got DC's Dead Planet, issue 3. Wasn't as strong, I think, as some of the others, but
slowing down. I feel the book they talked about the cure. Now we have the anti-life equation. I'm like, all right, cool. They keep focusing on Constantine. I'm like,
that's the thing. They focused on that part of this story, but now they're leaving that area, so we're going to go back to the other characters. But I think the whole thing of it is that they want you to get you there to see what was those guys' plan on them dealing with the anti-life equation. So them dealing with it was creating a bunch of Amazo androids, right? And because they have the powers of the entire Justice League, and they just created robot after robot after robot, and they have a feeling that if we create this mass army of them, that we're just going to totally annihilate them, right? So I guess that's what Tom Taylor was really trying to get you to see there. But there wasn't that much that happened compared to other issues, but I have a feeling we'll get back to the other side in the next issue. So that was that. So that was my number 4. And we talked about Firepower. So we're going to dive into number 3. So what was your number 3 then?
Mine was Black Widow. We already talked about it.
Okay. My number 3 was was also Black Widow.
There we go. It's gonna be a quick one.
Yeah, that ended that one. And Michael, you had a number 1 and number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the 2 books that we talked about. All right, so let's move on then. So let's talk about Man, this is going to be quick. Holy shit! So let's move on and talk about our number 2 book then. So Michael, what was your number 2 out of those 2 books?
We only find them when they're dead, number 1. We already talked about it.
All right, and then Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Batman. We talked about it.
Nice. Okay. And then my number 2 was Firepower issue 3.
Firepower.
I know what your number 1 is, and let's see, maybe we have a similar top 5.
Let's play guess the number 1s. Mine was Batman number 98.
I was gonna say yours is Batman, mine was Firepower, so we just flipped the 2.
Yep.
And you could guess mine.
Yours was Hellblazer.
Hellblazer has a full number 1. That's my number.
All right. So that's great. Man, this is the quickest show ever, man.
It was a very quick show. You know, guys, you might want to add some questions in the comments because we'll have some time for a Q&A.
Here's a question. I don't know if you guys answered this before, but how do you guys feel about Damian not being Robin anymore? I'm kind of sorry. Oh, he's late. Oh, we talked about the whole thing before.
Yeah. So I said
did.
It's going to be posted post-live. So if you missed that, it was around like the 40-minute mark that we talked about it. So hopefully that helps.
Again, I think, though, Damian not being a Robin, I think he's going to be some bad guy, and he's going to try to kick Batman's ass, and him and Tim and Drake are going to go at it.
I will say there's a Newsarama article I just handed in that, again, it's just a theory, so it's not what's going to happen, that I discussed to Damian Wayne, who I think he's going to be. I'll tell you guys post-live, but when the article is posted, you guys will see my thoughts.
You know, don't you think maybe even Teen Titans could have crossed over to the Joker War?
They could have, if it didn't get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. They could have made more money on that book for sure. All right. So now we're going to go on to the chopping block, right?
Yep.
So Michael, what are you chopping? Anything?
No chops.
Out of all your 2 books that you read?
I mean, I could. Well, you know, I was gonna think of semi-chopping. We only find them when they're dead, number 1, but I want to give issue 2 a try to see if I feel the same way as I did in issue 1. Because if I see the same thing like I saw in issue number 1, then I'm gonna definitely chop it. So that's why I spared. We only find them when they're dead, issue 1, for that.
Gotcha. I know there's one book that I want to call it a half chop, and that's going to be that Marvel Zombies Resurrection book.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that. Like, Kat said she didn't read it. What'd you think about the book?
It was not good. The first issue that came out like months ago when they were in Galactus and they got infected and then Galactus fell, and then it got delayed all this time because of COVID. And now you kind of get to see like what happened right after for like 1 page. And my whole thing of it all was I want to see what happens the entire book right after, not however long it was in the future. And I thought for a book of maybe that caliber, I thought that the artwork was not as detailed as it should have been. And I was disappointed in that as well. There was too much standing around. Oh, let's go do this, or we're going to go to the Xavier school. And there was nothing interesting about it. It was just, hey, let's run from the zombies. Or there's just nothing there. Peter was like, let me protect Valeria and Franklin. You know, it was just there. It was nothing mind-blowing. It was a very forgettable book. And I only liked it when they went back to right when the event started. That's the story I want to see. I don't want to see them running around the forest, you know, evading Hank McCoy as a zombie. I don't know. It was really rough for me. So I might give it a second issue a try to see if it improves, but it's looking pretty dim right now. So that's one book that can go on the chopping block, along with We Only Find Them When They're Dead. So I see there's a couple other ones on there. There's Lonely Receiver and Strange Adventures.
I got some chops. Yeah, Strange Adventures, I gave 5 issues. I still don't really like this book, and it goes up to issue 12, and I'm like, I'm not going to read more of this. I gave it a honest try, so I'm going to drop that. And then also Lonely Receiver. I know a lot of people liked issue 1. Had a lot of themes I enjoyed, but I just couldn't really get into the character. Yeah, so I'm going to probably drop that one.
Gotcha. And then we have a question here about anybody else read Something is Killing the Children besides myself.
I'm not. No, I would like to binge it though, because I didn't like the first issue actually. I really didn't like it. I read it months before it came out, and yeah, it wasn't really my thing. So I didn't get issue 2. I guess you guys could tell me if I didn't like issue 1, if I'm gonna like the rest of it.
I think it reads really well in trade. Because I got hooked on it that way, because I read the first trade, and then I had someone send me issue 6, and then I bought 7 and 8, and I think it's a good story. I really do. It's definitely one of the more popular ones out there right now. So it's very original, obviously, but read it in trade. I definitely recommend that.
Maybe I'll get that first trade. And usually it's a boom trade, so I don't know how cheap it'll be, but I'm sure it's like $12 or so. Gorax, Black Label books sell well, but given the DC turmoil and canceling books like Teen Titans, which are the best sellers, what is going to happen with Black Label? I think Black Label is here to stay. I just think it's kind of like their Vertigo in print, but I don't think they're going to be printing a lot, like we've been seeing.
I hope it does stay too. I think it just it's a better quality book, I guess, and it gives you a chance to be a little bit more edgier. Obviously it's changed since its original design, right? But it gives it a chance, like I said, to be it pushes the envelope a little bit more. And I love the quality of the books. Like, I love the way the 3 Joker books look. That's like,
I'm glad that wasn't a magazine size, because I hate those.
But those books are still, all those books, whatever, if they're oversized or regular, all the premium format it's really good, so great stuff there.
So I guess we're moving on to our most anticipated for next week.
Yeah, so we'll go on to that. Let me see, I can pull that up real quick. All right, so we have Wonder Woman issue 762. Still loving Wonder Woman?
Not loving it, but I'm liking it more than I have other Wonder Woman titles. So I'm interested to see what they'll do with Liar Liar, the neighbor, and who her dad is. So I'm curious to see where it goes, but I don't think it's as good as that first issue.
Isn't the girl the daughter of Maxwell Lord?
So they never really spelled it out. They're just like, oh, and my dad. And like, you can put 2 and 2 together. It's Maxwell Lord, but they never said it was actually Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it was. I was like, thanks for an interesting cliffhanger.
Oh, for sure. And that I definitely still an interesting book. I just don't know if it's my, favorite book on my pull list. It's kind of like a middle book for me.
I think it's better than what Wonder Woman has been. So that's good enough for me. And being that I'm losing DC books, I need to keep something.
I'm literally getting 1 DC book this week, and it's Wonder Woman.
All right, and I'm actually picking this up, and I'm sure Chris and Brant might pick this one up, but I'm actually getting Superman issue 25.
I'll have to put on the list then of Under the Rain on big books for next week.
Introducing a brand new villain, and this is a milestone book. So, because obviously it's 25 whole issues of one book, but it is a milestone book. It's oversized. I think it's like $7. I'm not 100% sure on that. But again, we're getting introduced to new villain. So if you're into first appearances, key issues, speculation, this is a book to pick up. So, and I might check it out. Obviously, I'm going to read it because I want to see who this villain is and what kind of threat is he towards Superman. All right. Next, I know this one is ready for Kat. This is Marauders issue 12.
Oh yeah, my girl Kitty's alive. They're on the hunt. I think that cover has her tattoos again. I guess she had to get new tattoos when she revived. So she's going to the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
No, I'm super excited for this. I love Marauders.
I am super excited on what Emma Frost is going to do to Sebastian Shaw.
Oh yeah,
like
Emma showed up.
I want to see what she does to him, you know. And then what are they going to do? Like, I don't think that you think they would not resurrect him. What do you think?
Whew. Is he dead right now? I don't remember because it's been so long.
No.
Did he get shot? Or you mean if they kill him? Yeah, I could totally see
to kill him.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I'm really excited to see what the hell the Hellfire Club's gonna be after this. Who's the leader? Who's part of this club anymore? But yeah, Emma Frost has been great in the Hickman era of X-Men. She showed up in Cable, giving the death stare to Cable because he's dating Esme. I love that. That's part of my panels. But yeah, Emma, she's definitely someone to look forward to, I'm sure, in that book.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that also.
We do have some comments before we
go ahead.
Gore says, I dropped Wonder Woman. Jan and Drew only 2 issues. It was the only reason to read. I don't know why DC can't find a good writer. I've liked Mariko. I think she's doing a good job. But again, not my favorite job. But it's also kind of hard for me to get into Wonder Woman. So if I'm reading Wonder Woman, I think you're doing a good job. We have V-Man's World. You guys are really cool. Thanks for keeping the comic community alive. I'm loving most of the comics coming out of the big 2 right now. Well, we appreciate you watching. Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's awesome.
And then we have one more question. What about X-Swords? I guess we could just make this another question and say, are you going to read every part of X-Swords? I'm going to at least begin to read X-Swords and see where it goes. I think I might get the books I usually don't buy digitally and then the ones I buy physically. But I'm going to try to read each part. If I hate it, I won't. But
it's like almost one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things that if you're following X-Men right now, it's like it's almost a must. You know what I'm saying? It's like it seems like such a major thing that's going to happen here.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, especially if you're reading the X-Men.
All right. So next book is the continuation of Captain Marvel. This is issue 21. This is an Empire tie-in.
So many issues of Captain Marvel. Not complaining because it's so great, but it's like it's coming out every week.
I know. They're trying to catch up. Because they have to, since it tied into Empire, they got to let them out each week, you know? So, and I think this is the last one that has to do with it. Do you think she stays the Accuser?
I think it'd be interesting if she does. I hope so. But I don't know. Yeah, I can't tell you. But I think we should at least get another arc or 2 out of it.
I think this story arc has been really well done. I think this is one of, I know I didn't read all the tie-ins to Empire, but from what I read of the Empire tie-ins, this has been one of the best ones. The only other one that I read that was really good was that second part to that X-Men one when Magneto was doing battle against the Katati.
You like that?
Yeah, I did. Because they made Magneto like a badass in that issue. And I thought it was really good. But this, as a whole story arc and a tie-in, I think this Captain Marvel stuff is really delivered. And the overall run has been pretty good, too. All right. So next, we have anyone that's a fan of Venom out there. We have Web of Venom, Wraith issue 1.
Another spec book, right? Or is
it probably will be a spec book. I don't know if it will be worth a lot of money or it could be worth a lot of money, but this could be a book where Wraith was introduced, I think, in the Guardians of the Galaxy a long time ago. And and supposedly he is going to be coming face to face with Null, and Null's on his way to Earth. I think that's what this book is about. And I think this is kind of like a little bit of a prelude of the King in Black thing, you know? So I think a lot of people are going to want to pick this up to see how this story might kick off, or what's going to happen between these two characters. So I think this is going to be a popular book. I really do. Next, I know Kat reads this. This is Red Mother issue 8. So excited?
Oh yeah, I'm stoked. Even when the book is slow, I still really enjoy it. And I really like the last issue. I thought there were some interesting tidbits for Daisy in that one. So curious to see where this one's gonna go. This was the one on the list I said Michael should read. So I'm sending him 2 books. After this, on the Facebook chat, he's gonna copy and paste Firepower and Red Mother. I think those are 2 books he'd really enjoy.
Yeah, I really enjoy Red Mother too. I think it's a really solid book. I didn't hate last issue at all, and I still love this story. I just wanted something more. I was just like, okay, Daisy, you're over your last boyfriend, and you saw your boss having sex, and now she wants to have sex with this guy, and I'm just like, okay. And it didn't do enough for me to progress the story. Like, I get where we're going. She's continuing her life. She's trying to, get away from the past. And but I need to see more. Like, I want to see more of the supernatural aspect of it. I want to see more of the creepiness. Like, I'm kind of done waiting around. I want something to progress a little bit further at this point. Like, I want something to happen, even if it's just a page where it's just like, no shit, did that just happen? Like, that's what I want from there. You understand? I'm kind of like, all right.
You want to see Red Mother again?
Yeah, I want to see something happen, man. I do. I want the stakes to get raised just a little bit, but I enjoy the story, and I'm not gonna not stop reading it. I just want a little bit something more in it.
I don't know what Sereny's comment is. You read Red Mother, but how about Red Mother with Child? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I know. You read Red Mother, but how about Red Mother with Child?
Never heard of it.
Not sure what that is. All right.
Oh, so, it's a novel. It's a real novel. Oh, it came out in like 2020. So it's a recent novel too. Yeah, haven't seen it or read it or heard of it until just now.
Okay. And then the next number 1 that we're going to be talking about today is The Rise of Ultraman issue 1.
Just did an interview for that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are you going to read it or no? Or am I going to be the only one?
I think you're going to be the only one reading it. It is a book that's only in its own universe, so it's not going to affect the Marvel universe at all. So that kind of deters me. I don't know. I gotta try only a few new books from Marvel because there's, I don't, especially with books that franchises I don't know. So I'm gonna try out Shang-Chi before I probably try out Ultraman. I would even try out that new Black Widow book, the miniseries one, before I try out this one, just because it's such a new franchise. I don't know if I want to jump into that.
Yeah, I mean, Ultraman's been around forever, and I don't know that much about the character. I think it's like one of those Japan shows from the past. But I don't know. I saw a trailer, from it, the comic book trailers that they have, and it looked kind of cool. So I'm going to try it out and see. Why not? I could like it, might not. And if I don't like it, then I don't have to read it anymore, right? So
give it a shot.
Yeah, we'll see what it's about.
I am reading those Empire Aftermath books, so I'm spending my money on that somehow. Well, the reason I'm getting Fantastic Four is because I'm reading Fantastic Four, so I'm like, I probably should know what they're up to before they jump back into the book. And I was reading Avengers because I thought they would do more with Wiccan and Hulking, because I heard that's where we're actually going to see the wedding. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of interested in that. So that's why I'm getting those two.
I gotcha. I saw those two, and I'm like, nah, I'm like, I got my fill.
You read all the Ultraman now. Not Ultraman, all the Empire, and I'm the one who didn't read any Empire, and I'm the one reading the one shots.
You're gonna read the aftermath. I don't need to read the aftermath. Like I read the issue zeros from both. I didn't get anything out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just like, whatever. It didn't do anything for me. When I read issue 1, I got a lot more out of it. I thought that the issue zeros were very bland and very slow. And I think it didn't do anything to help kick off this event to get people excited for it. And that's why I feel that people were turned off by the whole thing.
I was turned off because of the issue 0. I think I read issue 1 too. Yeah, but you're also not reading Fantastic Four or Avengers. That's also another reason not to read it. It's just like, all right, I'm not reading these series, so why not?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still reading Fantastic Four, so I don't know. I'll let you know if they're worth it. I have a
What do
feeling.
you think about Fantastic Four though in general? Is it still pretty good?
I like it. I don't think it's top 5 material most of the time, but it's always a fun read for me.
Right.
It's never a bad read. Only like one arc I've disliked.
Gotcha. I mean, I know I'm looking forward to Iron Man, you know, not this week, not tomorrow, but next week.
Oh man, that's coming out soon. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's coming out very soon. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that series.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm excited for that. That's an issue 1 you have to pick up. I'm curious of what Marvel issue 1s, because I was thinking in my mind when I said that Ultraman, I was like, oh man, what other issue 1s are coming out? I do feel like a lot of issue 1s of like C-listers are coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. And next week is going to be a big week for independents too. So
what's coming out next week for
you got the Big Girls issue 2.
Oh, Stillwater from Chip
Stillwater.
Zdarsky. Yeah, that's
Seven
gonna be a big
Secrets are coming out also.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got quite a few independents coming out next week. So, but yeah, it's and then you got like I know you don't read them, but you got heavy hitters like Venom and Thor coming out.
Yeah, all the books I don't read.
Detective Comics 1027 is coming out next week. So it's a pretty big week next week.
Oh, Detective's coming out. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. I'm picking it up. Just I don't know why, but I'm gonna pick it up.
I'm picking them up. I'll probably pick up a couple of those covers just to have them. But I think there's supposed to be a story though that leads further into the future. So I think it's not just like, hey, let's celebrate Detective Comics, you know. So
I hope so.
Came out last week. Did you read? I didn't read. What is it? I don't even know what it is.
I think it's an Image book. I didn't read it either. It's just one of those issue 1s from Image.
Gotcha. All right, so that's all the anticipated books coming out for tomorrow. So hopefully you guys, you know, are excited for those books and many, many more. And so, you know, I guess we'll close out the show by giving out any information that we have coming up. So, Kat, go ahead.
For me, just check out my stuff at Comic Uno. That's where most of the things are happening. Have a lot of articles on Newsarama to check out, so go check that all out. And we have all the buttons around us, so you can subscribe up there. You got the bell, so you don't miss anything from us. But mostly we only do live shows, so if you know it's Tuesday at 10, you know, we got the thumbs up. That way you can help people find us, and then follow us on social media. Any other stuff coming up for you guys that you would like to plug?
Well, for me, for my YouTube channel, I did talk about that I did a reaction video of the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Direct, which was good, along with some other videos that I have that I'm going to be uploading or that have been uploaded. And yeah, I mean, the 9/11 thing is going to be in 2 more days where we get to see the Tribune lights. So if you're in the New York area, like myself and Kat, we'll be looking up into the sky for 19 years since 9/11. It's
wow.
I know it's still
crazy.
Very sad to this day. It's something you can never forget. But yeah.
All right, Mike.
That's insane.
I remember when it was, man. I feel like I remember when it was 10 years. Obviously, we all remember when it happened, but that's crazy.
2001. That's when it happened. September 11th.
I was working at Target when it happened. I was opening a store before it opened, we were setting it up, and they had the TVs in the electronics department just on, and we heard the news, and we're like all standing in front of the TV, and we were just like, what? It's like so surreal, man. Just
for sure.
yeah.
I was in second grade when it happened.
Oh my God, that makes me so freaking.
No, I'm sorry. Second or was it first? 2001.
Whatever.
No, second. It was second grade.
Whatever. Like, oh my God.
I think I was like in the 6th or 7th grade, and I heard about it after I came home from school, and I saw on the TV what happened. So that was my favorite. And it was, one of my favorite buildings that I liked looking at a lot, next to the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building. But
wow, that's
cool. I never got to go inside it either. I mean, I've been up close to it.
I went all the way to the top floor for they had a restaurant up there. Went there for when I was in kindergarten or something. So obviously I don't remember it, but yeah, had the opportunity to. But yeah, thanks, Michael, for referencing it. And today we remember. So, Mike, anything you'd like to plug or?
Yeah, for my channel, guys want to check out, go on to my channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, and check out my top 10 comic book covers of the week, where you guys can vote on your favorite comic book cover of the week, which is always a lot of fun. Getting a lot of participation on there these days, so thank you for that. Top 10 most anticipated comic books for next week actually went live today, so you guys can check out that video. I'll do my comic book haul tomorrow, so check out what comic books I picked up tomorrow. And yeah, and then we'll take it from there. So that's all I got for you.
Yes, hopefully we'll have the whole cast next week. We always say it, but we hope.
No, you know what? I think we're gonna just like, nah, I don't hope we have anybody.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah,
it's never gonna happen. Yeah, it's not happening. So maybe we'll get
everyone.
Back.
Yeah, I hope they don't come. All right, guys. Well, thank you for showing up for this episode, and we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Guys.